Okay, we're going to make Russian tea cakes, but during the Cold War, it was no longer popular to call them that. So they changed the name to Mexican wedding cookies. And they're also known as pecan sandies. And they're also known as polvorones, if I'm pronouncing that right. At any rate, there are some variations. Deb's recipes. My mom's been baking these as long as she can remember. And her Mexican husband gives these her full approval. And then Marklem says, well, they taste floury rather than a rich buttery taste. So he's saying it should be 1 cup flour, or she, a 1/2 cup confectioner's sugar, and 1 cup unsalted butter. 1 flour, 1/2 cup confectioner's sugar, a cup of unsalted butter, a pinch of salt, 1 cup of pecans, finely chopped, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and some comment about the baking time. I've found in the preppy kitchen that he was using a KitchenAid, and my mom left me this KitchenAid, and he was using this. And you'll see people using a hand electric mixer, and so I presume you could use this. I put some warm water in here. Here's how the recipe varies. There's almost always a cup of butter. It's a 1/2 cup of sugar, but if you use powdered sugar, I think the volume increases, so you see people using a full cup. 1 to 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and this 1 to 2 cups of flour, as you saw by the critical remarks. So I'm like to experiment with things, and I have this warm water in here to warm up the bowl. We'll put it. Instead of the 1 cup of butter, see, one of these 1/2 sticks is missing. I'm going to use virgin coconut oil. So I'm going to substitute. Oh, look, there's some liquid there. Let's pour that out. Okay, so we have that in there. When the heat of this bowl warms it up. And in that, I'm going to use vanilla beans. So according to the recipes and the substitution, I could use from a 1/2 to a whole. And what I understand you do here is take out the seeds. You don't use the bean. Set this aside. And there's millions of little beans in here. And this is where the vanilla flavor comes from. Plan on dispersing these millions of little seeds in the coconut oil. See, look at it. Just, those are all seeds. But here is all this. So those little seeds can disperse in this coconut oil, and the coconut oil should extract the flavor. Interesting. I'm tempted to put the other vanilla bean, but on the next batch we'll do a whole vanilla bean. But let's just try this. It's set around in this, so I think it's pretty soft. we're going to add the ½ cup of powdered sugar. There's a wide variety of how much sugar. A ½ cup, well, that was granular. So, and then somebody mentioned a cup of powdered. So we're gonna go a little lighter, I suppose, on the sugar with a ½ cup of powdered sugar, organic from Whole Foods, and get that going. So we can use 1 cup and avoid the criticism of it being too floury, or go ahead and use 2 and we'll have the blessing of the Mexican husband. See, there's little clumps of butter still in there. Somebody says, okay, go till it's fluffy. I have a 1/4 of coconut flour. If I put both of these in, so I have a ½ cup of coconut flour and a full cup and another ½ cup of unbleached flour. So let's put this in here. And if we just stick with this recipe, we'll have the real buttery one. And at some point, these pecans have to go in. Up to 2 tablespoons of water, someone said. So let's just put 1 in now. Okay, let's go for in between and only put ½ of this in. So we're going in between. We're gonna straddle the fence. A teaspoon of water, and I think somewhere along the line someone mentioned salt, so we'll put in some little bit of salt, ground Himalayan something or other. See, I wonder, I've always wanted to use this. I never have used it. It scrapes the side. Let's see if I can. Not much gets hung up on this. It tastes kind of bitter, but that's, I think, because of the raw flour. Interesting. It does scrape down the sides. Now, some recipes call for making the nuts into mostly a granular kind of thing, and it becomes sort of a flour, but very coarse. So they chop up the nuts, then they put it in a bag, then they use a rolling pin over the plastic bag. Now, see, some people refrigerate it and some people go right into the ball making routine. Let's see what the dough tastes like. It's sweet. I believe it's sweet enough. Look at, there's hardly anything left on this. The nuts look to be uniformly distributed. A baking sheet with parchment paper. $350. Let's use convection bake. So it's a combination of convection and baking. I think I've made a mess over here. I'm gonna go to another non-messy place. You know, some people roll this out and, you know, make all kinds of like uniform. I'm gonna try several different size of balls to see what is the optimum ball size. I'm going to purposely not make them uniform, and I'm going to refrigerate this dough after I make this tray because I think there's two things. I've always wanted to use this, so that's an excuse to refrigerate them, and we'll see what the difference is. So, you know, I don't know how much, if you should smash this real hard together or leave it sort of open. Now I know there's a number of different ways to get the powdered sugar on the ball. You can put them in a plastic bag, but then there's more plastic in the environment. Or you can just, I don't know, roll them around on some powdered sugar. I think you could probably put a lot more. I don't think these things go anywhere. It's like a shortbread cookie. So I think this recipe is quite flexible in terms of what you can do. You just need 2 sticks of butter, a cup of flour, and your seasoning and flavoring. Some people put orange zest in it and cardamom. So what we're gonna do, put this in the refrigerator, wait till the oven heats up, and then bake it for 15 to 20 minutes. Here we go, in the oven. Hey Siri, set a timer for 15 minutes.
15 minutes, starting now.
Okay, here we go. That looks pretty good to me. I mean, they're lightly brown. I don't think I would want to cook them anymore. See, putting one of those in my mouth right now. Oh no, that was a mistake. They came apart. See, I thought it would just stay together. Maybe that coconut flour keeps it from staying together. I'm all for easy. I can't see picking these up and rolling them around. I know, putting them in little plastic bags. And I know presentation is a big deal, but it's not my thing. I just want to eat it. We'll figure out how to get the powdered sugar. Well, I know. After I eat these, there'll be powdered sugar down here, and I'll lick the top of these and put it in the powdered sugar. Sounds like a plan. Well, my next trick is to do a gluten-free. In other words, use 100% coconut flour or some other flour and make gluten-free Mexican wedding. Because we're not liking the Russians right now, so we're not going to call them Russian tea cakes because they're causing problems for Ukraine. Tastes pretty good, actually. And see, there's some oil kind of coming through into the powdered sugar, so that's the way it looked like when my mom did it, so must be getting close. Well, it turns out that while they're hot, it's pretty easy to pick it up and just stick it in the powdered sugar. You can see the oil that comes out into the parchment paper. And if you were really fastidious, of course, you would roll it all over and get it on the top and the bottom and, you know, like that. But I'm not that guy. So they don't fall apart in my hand. I was just a little too egregious with the as far as the taste, it doesn't taste like it's a baker's flour. It tastes like it's a whole wheat organic flour, which is not bad. I mean, I'm certainly going to eat every one of them if I can, but I think more fine flour would give a better taste to it. And we're going to try, see, I use this whole wheat flour. It's not exactly a baker's flour, so it tastes a little wholesome on the healthy side. So let's go for another kind of flour that's fine, like a rice flour, coconut flour.